everyone, my name is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor and also internal family systems therapist. We are going to talk about how to become more self-aware of your parts. And if you are new to this channel, I have many videos kind of going through what are parts, what is internal family systems. Check those out. And so if you're new to the channel, welcome. How can we be aware of our parts or when we are in protective mode? It is a internal process that we have to become more aware of ourselves. A lot of times you'll hear that, oh, I didn't know that was something I was doing to protect myself. I just thought that was a part of who I am, or I just thought this was who I am. And it's not until we start doing some work, work in session, or even when you start to pay attention, more close attention to yourself, that you realize, oh, there are reasons why these parts of my personality are coming up in these situations, because for whatever reason, I don't feel safe, and so this part's coming up to protect me. Oftentimes, parts are trying to protect us from feeling any type of discomfort, confusion, emotional pain, physical pain, hurt. They want to protect us at all costs, and that is their noble intention. And that's how we view parts, from their noble intention. We don't come from a space where we're trying to pathologize or stigmatize parts and say that they are bad, because we know there are no bad parts. Our brain is always looking out for us, always. Now, can it over-respond sometimes? Absolutely. But it's only doing that because it feels like it has to. And so some ways that we can really try to decipher whether we are in protective mode is by doing a simple exercise. One of the exercises that I like to do is thinking about something that's very, very small, distressing. Not something big. We don't want to start with big. Something that's very small, like maybe an awkward conversation, like an awkward silence could be, or traffic, running late for work, trying to finish your homework before the bell rings. Something that's mildly distressing. Some of you may say, that's really distressing. And if that is, then listen to yourself, listen to your system, and pick something maybe a little bit less, right? Less activating. And as you think about your experience and thinking about something that actually happened, right, where you were experiencing one of the examples that I mentioned prior, and taking your mind there, notice your breath. Notice your heart rate. Notice if you feel any tension in or around your body. Just notice it. Then think of a pleasant memory that you experienced. Could be a birthday party, could be, hey, you went to the grocery store and they had what you were looking for, right? It could be something very simple. And thinking about that, and then also, once you have that moment, once you have that memory in your mind, notice your heart rate. Notice your heart rate. Notice your breath. Are these longer breaths, right? Most times when we're even experiencing that mildly distressing event, sometimes we're not even breathing. You'll notice like, oh, I'm not even breathing, or my breaths are very short. IFS is a very mindful practice. It's a very mindful practice. What I like about it is that it's an active mindful practice. Mindful practice sometimes can make you feel like it's meditation. You're just sitting there, and there may be parts of you that may feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get bored, right? And so attending to, always engaging with your different parts can really help you to really understand yourself. How we know we are in protection mode is really paying attention to, did we have a strong reaction to something? When someone said something or someone did something, did we experience some type of sensation in our body, in our mind? Did a thought come up? Did a feeling come up? Not all parts are created equal. All parts don't show up in your body. All parts don't show up as emotion. All parts don't show up as thoughts or a sensation or a feeling. They show up in many different ways. And how we attend to them is by paying close attention, paying close attention to yourself. What you can do as you're starting internal family systems therapist with your IFS therapist or your IFS practitioner, you can start to note what type of responses you have throughout the day. What came up for me? How did I respond? How did I feel about that response? Right? That will give us a clue. That will give us some inkling of whether we are in protective mode. Usually when we are in protective mode, we are responding from a place that is fear-based and is coming from a place of extremes. And sometimes we have parts of us that may not like the language of fear-based. May say, I'm not scared, right? And that's okay. That's okay. Usually, though, that's where it's coming from. Our parts have and believe they have one job to protect us and one way to protect us. And so, because of that, there is a fear of them not doing that job, what will happen to us. And so that's why it is usually a fear-based response and coming from extremes. And so that's something to attend to and take note of. Did I respond in a way that I felt maybe I went overboard? Right? Did I respond in a way that I felt like I didn't have control over my response? It just came out, or it just happened. I just saw myself in the grocery store getting the bag of chips. And so now I realize, like, I have this part of me that really likes crunchy foods, and to get curious about that. Or I have parts of me that really get agitated in traffic, to get curious about that. I have parts of me that get activated when someone mispronounces my name. It doesn't have to be some huge event, right? So just getting curious about that. Is there a part of you? Is there a part of you that likes to maybe stay in your bed longer when you know you have to get up in the morning? Is there a part of you that likes to scroll on your phone before you go to bed when you know you should go to bed earlier? And is there a part of you that criticizes everything you do? Nothing is right. Is there a part of you that feels like you have to do certain things in a certain sequence in order to make sure you feel safe? These are parts. These are ways that we're protecting ourselves, and to get curious about them. Oftentimes we do criticize and we do push away, or we try to cut out, right? And I do have a video talking about how to engage with the parts of us that we don't like, how to really embrace those parts. But to start to pay attention to yourself, and to continue to engage in your own therapeutic process and your own therapeutic journey. And just remember, how we become more aware of our parts and how they show up is by paying attention to our thoughts, paying attention to our feelings, paying attention to our body, paying attention to our reactions and our responses. This is going to help us. This is going to help us to know when we are protecting ourselves. And we may have parts of us that have some strong beliefs about these parts that we come to recognize and know. That's also something to get curious about, because as we continue to learn each part, there may be a part of us that's like, I don't like this part. This is a problem, or how ridiculous. There may be a part that comes up to really critique these different parts. That's okay. Note that as well. Note if there are any responses or interactions between parts. That is also helping you to understand any internal polarization that's happening. This is two different parts that are usually protecting the same wound, but they have completely different ways of protecting it, and they usually battle each other out. Don't realize that they're actually on the same team. So take time to attend to yourself. Note anything that you see as you're paying attention to how you're protecting yourself or what's coming up for you, thoughts or feelings. And of course, discuss this with your therapist or your IFS practitioner. If you have any more questions about how to be more aware of parts, feel free to comment below. If you're still with us, of course, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, be cool, be calm, be centered.